Okay, I believe that we are live now. And
Yeah.
I just want to welcome everyone who is joining us today. And like I was saying before, when I was doing my presentation all week to get you guys all hyped and prepped for my guest today, this is my first broadcast of The Whole Me, which is based off my book series, The Whole Me book series. I have Web of Lies, The Whole Me, then there is Imperfect, I'm Perfect Me, and Love Addiction. Now, the whole me came about because growing up, I just had this whole vision of perception of what love was. Love to me was the parents who come home, tuck you in the bed, read books, all of these other things. And when I didn't get that, I thought that, okay, maybe I'm not loved. And for those of you who have not had a chance to hear the whole story, you're going to have to log onto my site because today I am bringing in my guest, Latisha Anderson from Embrace Your Ugly, and how she fits into the whole scheme of things. If you hear the whole story, what it boiled down to, that it was not that I didn't want to do better, like the thing that people always tell people, that you're not getting better because you don't want to do better, but it was the fact that I didn't know how. And when somebody came along to show me how, not to just show me how for myself, but to be able to show other people how, then, we keep that each one teach one, passing it on. And my thing was the perception of the word love. What did it mean? What did those things mean to me? And if I would have thought that certain words, like the negative words that were told me or the hurtful things that was told me, if they meant opposite, if they meant positive things to me, then it would have had a different effect on me. So today's topic is the power that we give words. And I want to introduce to you Latisha Anderson of EYU. What is EYU, Latisha?
EYU simply means to embrace your ugly. And that's everything that makes you unique, genuine love, and simply you.
That is so can you give us some relatable experiences that others who are where you have been can know that you genuinely know their struggle and there is light at the end of the tunnel?
Oh, most definitely. Okay, so I grew up in a household where my father was very abusive to my mother. And so as a child growing up, I was always the bigger kid. So I was taller, my head was bigger, my lips were bigger, nose was bigger. So everything about me just seemed big. And so
Okay.
for a very long time, I was called ugly. And as a child, when someone calls you that, it's devastating to say the least. And so all growing up, of course, that damages your self-esteem. That makes you no longer want to kind of be a part of society or just a part of anything because you felt like you stuck out like a sore thumb.
Right.
And so as I got older, I realized I had ugly situations in life. So I was molested at a very early age, more than once. I was violated. I grew up in an abusive household. And on top of all of that, I had a learning disability. So kids
Wow.
would pick at me because I had to go to the special classroom. Then to top all that off, I had a temper, anger issues, which anybody would if you had the situations that I had in life. So I struggled with my identity. I struggled with my self-esteem. I struggled with just simply knowing who I was as an individual. It was not until I got into my 30s that I was able to embrace everything that made me unique, genuine love, and simply me. All the things that made me ugly.
Look, I'm gonna have to drink to that because I want to say, girl, shut your mouth, but keep on talking. Okay.
Yeah. Look,
So
yes.
yes, have some tea with me. That's what I'm talking about. Like how we just have to
Yes.
keep it moving. We can't let those words have power over us. We can't have negativity keeping us down or holding us down. That's not our baggage. That's somebody else's that they tried to put on us. And you shouldn't be carrying that. And that's what I'm talking about. Keep it moving. And
Yes.
so then what is the message that you want to achieve?
Well, the whole EYU is about empowerment and it's about encouragement. And you have to understand that those are two completely different things. I believe of encouragement is me coming in and saying, hey, it's going to be okay. You say you're
Okay.
hungry, I'm going to give you a meal and I'm going to keep moving. Empowerment gives you tools, resources, and a strategic plan to help you stay afloat. So the EYU is about encouragement and empowerment so you as the individual can evolve because evolvement means you're moving forward. You can't evolve backwards. Everything is forward movement. So we go into different communities. Because I'm a certified life coach and certified empowerment coach, we go into communities, we talk to different girls, adults, women, and we give them tools and right now resources with a right
Okay.
now plan. But you have to be willing to put the work in.
Hold on. Dang, that's some hot tea, girl. That's what I'm talking about. Don't burn your tongues on this. This ain't just a regular tea, that tea that's be out there in the hood where people spilling tea, but this is that herbal tea, that healthy tea that you need for the soul, okay? So,
Yes.
can you put in perspective how big the ugly problem is? Like people with that word ugly.
Well, as we know today, especially in our society, we have so many young adults and adults who are committed suicide simply because of the words that someone says. No one has given them the proper tools to equip them to understand that the world we live in can be very ugly, to say the least. And so understanding the whole EYU movement means that this is not just strategic simply for women or for girls, but this is for boys and for grown men who
Right.
have had to endure ugly situations, who've had to endure ugly circumstances, who've been bullied, who've been beat down and beat up, and yet still trying to move forward. What happens is a lot of people like to get together and we're going to have a pity party. I don't believe in pity parties because nothing's going
Okay.
to ever get done. We are about movement. So a true life coach doesn't stay in your past because that doesn't create anything about you moving forward. That just keeps reminding you of why you feel where you're at. So when we come in with the, how can I say it? We come in with the motive that you will not be the same way I met you 2 weeks from that day.
Right.
So when we come in with a goal. Most people don't have goals. Most people don't understand strategic plans. And because of the way the world is, so many people get picked on for being black, white, whatever, gay,
Right.
straight. They believe in God. They don't believe in God. So somebody sees something in you that they identify as ugly. And because they're not sure how you're going to react, and sometimes we're not either, those words stick with us. That's why I think the biggest lie they ever told us was sticks and stones breaks our bones, but words will never hurt you. Words will kill you. And it's evident today, especially.
Okay. Look, I had to upgrade on tea because that was hot. So when like you said, this is not a boy girl thing. This has you know like it doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're a boy or if you're a girl, if you this religion, that religion. We all go through this, we all feel this, we all experience this. And you're not alone. And I know we always hear that we're not alone, but it sure feel like you going through it alone. And so what was your aha moment in all of this?
So I was in the restroom and I literally was standing in the mirror and I wasn't like, I was trying to put my makeup on. And I remember this so vivid. I was trying to put my makeup on and I was like, you ever, like, women, we go through this when we just feel ugly that day. Like, it don't matter what we put on. It don't matter how our hair look, none of that. And I was just really struggling. And it's like, it just hit me. Embrace it. And because I was talking to myself and I was like, embrace what? It was like, embrace your ugly. And it opened my mind to something different, meaning I started paying attention to stuff that I hadn't really paid attention to before. For so long, we were told that our hair wasn't the right type of hair because it was kinky. We were told that our lips were too big, that our noses were too wide, and our hair wasn't straight and it wasn't Farrah Fawcett. It wasn't until we as Black women embraced our natural hair that now you see shea butter in everything.
Okay.
People pay for these that I got for free, that I was told for so long that they were big and that they were ugly, and now they're called full. So you have to not allow what others say to dictate to you how you operate, how you move. And it's easy to say that, but words hurt. Do you hear me? And I just refuse to constantly receive something as a negative. So if you call me ugly, I'm going to agree with you because I know what it means to me.
Right? Look, hold on, another tea. Because, that's all I got to say is shut your mouth, but keep on talking. When you were saying that about that word about embrace it, that aha moment. And that is just like so amazing of how, how we go through, and that word ugly was such an ugly word and just made us feel so horrible about it, to the point that here it took you years to say, wait a minute, embrace it. And now when you call me ugly, heck yeah, I know. I received that, and I received that part. Blessing. That teach.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And I love that how, like you said, that before these lips was considered ugly, but now they're considered full, or they was big, but they're full. Like they said before, fat, but now it's pretty hot and tempting. How words mean different, and how we've taken those words into how they've evolved to mean something else, and how powerful the hurt was. And it might have had you gripped in fear. It might have had you not going to do things. Like for me, my hands, like I've talked about before, I was always told that I have man hands. They're big, and my hands tend to be sweaty and cold and clammy. So keep your hands in your pockets. And for the longest, even as a grown up, I would do that. I would not ever pull my hand. I wouldn't want to shake nobody's hands because of I had insecurities, but I had to realize that those were not my insecurities. That was somebody else's insecurities. I was living my perception through someone else's perception, just like in my whole me story of I was thinking that I wasn't loved because of the perception that I saw on TV that it gave to me of this is what love should be to me, or somebody else's relationship, or if somebody asks me, who are you? And I say who I am, and they're like, oh, then you don't know who you are. And then it's like, okay, well, then maybe I don't know who I am. Oh my gosh. And then they tell me one thing, how you know if you are. But then when I answer with their answer to somebody else, oh, then you don't know who you are. It's like, what? So it's people's perception. Stop letting people put their perception on you. Excuse me. But what I want to do is give you a moment to let that sink in. Take a little short pause, just so that way you can, like whether take your notes, catch up a little bit with us. And I'm gonna give you a random fact. This random fact comes from Jamaica Jubilee up in Seattle, Washington. And she wants us to know that, did you know that blue whales cannot swallow anything larger than a grapefruit? And she finds that to be funny because of how big their mouth is, that they can't get a grapefruit, anything larger than a grapefruit is.
But you know how deep that is, though. Right. But like how, like that's amazing on so many levels.
Yes.
Because again, the size alone gives someone a perception of something. Yep. Your perception doesn't have to be fact. You just perceive it to be that this whale should be big enough to swallow a person. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, wow, I like that. That's amazing.
Amazing.
Like that's amazing.
Well, Latisha, what was the most discouraging moment in putting together EYU?
And I'm gonna be honest, it was when I wanted, when I started the EYU, I started out for my queens of color. And they were not as receiving as I desired them to be. And it was almost at points in times that it became very disencouraging, because it was almost kind of like, what do you mean? You know, and I'm thinking, like, we've discussed certain things. I know that you can get it. And I started saying, well, I started this for us. I don't get why they're not receiving it. And it's nothing like your own not receiving what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing like your own, those that look like you, that understand your struggle, that walk like you, that talk like you, and they still reject the help. They still reject the resources. They still reject that I'm not trying to be a crab and pull you down, but I'm the net that's going to pull you up. And it's just kind of like, if I don't want to just pull you up one at a time when we all in the same boat. But it was hard for me when I realized that I had a plan.
Right.
And as my grandma say, and God had a plan. And when I opened up my own view and my own perception, I realized that all women and men battle the same thing. It just looks differently because it comes from different points of view. And that was my aha moment when I stopped trying to, you know, when I just stopped feeling bad about it and just said, you know what, whosoever will, let them come.
And I know a lot of times we tend to cater to women. And, you know, like even with the hashtag Me Too, and women aren't the only ones raped. Women aren't the only ones who go through these type of abuses. And even if you go back to childhood, boys are being raped, boys are dealing with these abuses, these hurts and whatnot. And, you know, and that's just not a tea time. That's just like a little champagne moment.
Oh, wow.
So just had to, you know, because, you know, wow, men tend to get left out. And when we have these events, we always see events for women empowerment, women this. And it's not to say that men don't have things, because we always feel like it's a man's world. But a lot of times they don't have these powwows or these heart to heart of how do I heal from this hurt. They tend to get told that you're a man, you shouldn't be crying, stop whining, or, you know, they get called the B word and all this other stuff. So that, you know, that is key to all of, you know, the things that we're doing, is that we don't include the brothers or the sons, you know, because they are an extension of us. And now I have a question. Do you have a book out? What is, like, is it just an organization? You provide a service? What is, you know, all do you have?
Well, literally, the EYU took a life of its own. So I'm a certified life coach by profession. That's my business. That's what I do. And we started doing the EYU. So in the midst of me doing this, of course, the book is soon to come. Right? Sooner than later, as a matter of fact. And it's my story. But a lot of times people tell a story, and then when the story is over, it's the end. And in reality, it's not. It's just my beginning. You know, it's just your beginning. And so from there, we've launched out to the EYU TV that we're working on now, where we once a week do clips of different women and men who have had to embrace some of the most ugliest things in their life. Today, literally today, right before this, I interviewed author Latisha Marshall, who wrote a book called Broken for Purpose. And I'm still shaken by the story, her book, her words, and her truth. And one of the things that you said that I loved a lot of time is that we forget that little boys go through the same thing that little girls go through. And everybody's perception of something is not necessarily a factual perception. Right. And so we have decided that we have been reaching out, and we didn't really have to, because more people started reaching out to us because they have a story to tell. I don't just want to hear your story. I want to know that you came out. I want to know how you came out, because somebody else is going through the same thing that you went through. Her empowerment. I've been molested. I've been violated, but I don't know what it's like to be molested by my father. That's her story. Okay. How do you hold that? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. How do you live with that? and still yet move forward. That shows the strength of, oh my God, just to endure. You know what I'm saying? Like to endure a thing. And so we're working on our own EYU TV. We're now working towards the book being finished, and it's simply called It's Okay to Be Ugly. Okay. And we're doing
time. Shut your mouth and keep on talking.
Yes. And the EYU will be doing our first official cruise this year, October the 18th through the 21st, 2008. And it's basically called EYU Cruise. And we're going to come together because some of you got to come out of your element. Because it's hard for you to see life differently if you're in the same situation. It's like somebody saying, well, I'm starving, but you refuse to move from where you're at. You got to come out so you can see something differently. So when you go back with strength.
Okay. And I would like to know, so when you was putting, when you did, like, you put together your EYU organization, did you put away the characters, or like what did you do to the characters that were, as far as the people in your life that caused this hurt, all of that?
I had to embrace them. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but one of my violators had passed away. And one of the hardest things that I had to do was comfort one of my family members because it was her father. And I realized then that I had no hate towards him, which seems odd. And I realized then that the only thing I really had was confusion and pain and hurt of not quite understanding, why did you do this to me? Why me? Right. I never hated my dad because my mom would not allow me to hate my dad. My father hung my mother from a balcony because we were going to go to church. I was never allowed to hate my father. So without my mother realizing it, she taught me something that I stick firm to the day, and that's to go beyond what you see to see what it is you actually see. And as I begin to grow and as I hold truth. So I don't have time to hate on you because that's going to weigh on me even more. Right. Like you don't like some people and people don't even know you don't like them.
Okay.
What? So I remain truth to the fact that in spite of how ugly the situations were, and they were ugly, I have a picture of me when I was younger, and I have these big old glasses and my hair is like sticking all out over my head. I look real special. And I have this saying that says, she endured, which is the younger me, so I could embrace, which is the older me. Right. So my real strength doesn't come from my now, but it came from my then, because I didn't commit suicide, because I didn't give up when I wanted to, because I still graduated high school, I graduated college, I have a degree, I have a husband, I have 3 kids, I own my own business. Okay. It was not in my own strength, but I never look back at my past self and say she's weak. She was the queen. She endured it, right? So I could embrace it. And that to me is life. That to me is power. That is empowerment.
Okay, look, because I keep wanting to say, shut your mouth and keep on talking. But I want all the feedback to interrupt what you said. I want people to get that,
Wow, yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take another pause to shut our mouths before we keep on talking and give you some more facts. Okay, Jamaica, come here. I have a little fact machine over here.
Did you know that dogs are not direct descendants from the wolves we have today?
Who are they direct descendants of?
I don't know. A distant relative that is now extinct.
Okay. Wow. Well, we learn something new every day. That's all I can say. Well, we're going to go into our next segment, which is Tea Time with Sincerely, love always. So we're gonna have a reading of one of our audience people who has sent in a letter, and my guest Latisha Anderson will be reading it. And if you have teacups with you, we encourage you to bring them to the table because we get ready to shut our mouths but keep on talking. So, Latisha, can you read the letter from our guest today?
Yes, I can. Okay, so it says, Dear love, I have friends that when we go out, I feel inferior to them because they are perfect with their shape, pretty face, and personalities. The guys always flock to them, and I tend to feel like which person does not belong. I feel accepted by them, but left out when guys get in the mix. They get guys who will do anything for them. Me, I can tell the moment a guy meets me, he's already scrambling for a lie to be polite. I am the dove, designated ugly fat friend. Wow. I was so wow. I was so hurt to find out that one of my friends felt I was a burden and not carrying my weight in the friendship.
Wait a minute. Shut your mouth, but keep on talking.
But when I addressed her, it seemed as though she was coming from a caring heart, but I did not know how to take our conversation. She said that she truly feels sorry for me, and she gets that I'm not the best looking, but I have to have the attitude like I know that I am. It might not guarantee me a date, but I need to love myself so much that it doesn't matter. She felt it was a strain on our relationship because she feels I'm depressed behind it.
Shut your mouth. Keep on talking.
Wow. Though I get what she's saying, it hurts to always go places and be outshunned by my friends because I am the ugly duckling. I don't ever get a break in noticing that I am no man's top pick or pick at all. It's so difficult to not feel this way when the situations and environments are constantly slapping me in the face. Luckily that my friends don't have this issue, but I feel invalid because it seems as if they want me to accept that I cannot possibly be loved while they live my dreams in my face. Sincerely, a dying heart.
Wow.
Oh.
That's some.
You got to give me a minute to take.
Tea and a little bit of champagne. Because I feel you, and in the fact that I'm not no heavy set woman or anything. I fit in that bracket between petite and plus size. So when I'm going shopping, it's kind of hard to find the right fit on different things. So I tend to play down my looks for the simple fact that I've been told that because you're pretty, you think you're better than everybody else. And I don't want anybody to think that. But when I'm shopping, I can't find the right things that make me feel good either. But everybody else has the things that actually fit them, perfectly. And, but when I've gone out with friends that I've had before, but I've severed those relationships, just so you know, I felt like the ugly duckling in the sense that they was like, oh, why you don't wear this? Because I don't wear the clothes where my stomach is out or my, certain things that they're wearing, like they club outfits out in the public. And it would hurt at first, but now I'm like, I really don't care. I like my shape. I'm fine with my shape. And the same thing, I also consider, I don't know how your friends are, but the people I was around, they was throwing themselves at guys. I wasn't willing to do that. I didn't want to demean myself or belittle who I am or, stop my shine for anybody else. So if the guy wasn't paying attention to me, I just took it that he wasn't for me. And why would I want to be with somebody who just is superficial and not looking at the inner me of who I am. And at the same token, I really can't tell if your friend is being genuine, but at the same token, I do understand how you feel in the sense that I know that they can't cater to what you're feeling, but at the same time, as a friend, it's good to be courteous and say, hey, look, when we're out and we're doing things, it's about us together as a unity and not letting people come in and take away and pull you away. All these guys pulling you away. We're out here as friends doing friend things, and they should stop it like, hey, okay, well, thank you. Like, we got to go, or, something. Well, what do you say about this letter, Latisha?
One is just completely broke my heart, but there's this scripture that's universal. So a lot of times you'll hear me say scriptures that are universal. And it's so powerful. So as a man thinketh, so is he. So you see them as perfect. You see them as someone who has everything put together. So therefore you doubt who you are. You doubt your authenticity. You doubt your own beauty. So before I can address any of your friends and their statements, I have to address you first, because you must know that you are a queen 100. Every man's not looking for a size 6. Every man's not looking for a size 8. Every man's not looking for a size 2. There are some men out there want us plump. Okay, I am 216 pounds. That's because I had lost a couple of pounds. So I started like 223. And I had to love every inch of me before I could really expect someone to love me. And when I read this letter, it seems like you've already accepted the role of being second. You've already accepted the role of not being the one. You've already accepted the position of not being loved or even having a boyfriend or anything like that. You've chosen to accept that. And that's the first thing we have to address. You got to know that you are loved. You got to know that you are someone. You got to know that you are powerful all within yourself. And that does not happen overnight. It's a step by step by step by step process. If I already come in the game thinking that I'm not going to be with nobody, ain't nobody going to listen. I used to be the same way. I was on the dance team at the church. And I swear all of them had boyfriends, every last one.
Okay.
They'll get a boyfriend, they'll get a man. Every time somebody come to the church, one of my friends I've been engaged like 3-4 times. Okay. And I'm like, it was never me. It was not until I got that little bit of boldness, and it wasn't a whole lot. And I was like, it's got to be somebody who loves me genuinely for who I am. I did not get a real boyfriend until I got in my 20s. And that was because I didn't feel like I deserved it, because I didn't look like them. I didn't walk like them. I didn't talk like them. But there was something about me that men were attracted to. But it's not until you love you that thing starts to spill over. My husband, before he became my husband, he had to endure a lot of stuff of my low self-esteem. Like, why you like me? Why you want to be with me? And you're looking at what your friends are doing on the outside. For all you know, whoever they with could be belittling them, could be abusing them verbally, mentally. So never look on the outside of somebody's house and assume you know what's going on the inside. Right. And as far as your friend is concerned, in her statement about basically you're bringing them down and this, that, and the third. And again, sometimes it does come from a loving place. And I'm not going to say that it came from a hateful place, because I wasn't there. So I don't know how the conversation went. But one thing that I do know is that needs to be addressed, because depression is something not to play with. And the wrong statement can send you in a spiral like this and just send you in. And honey, I don't want you to be depressed, but you can't address your friend until you can address yourself. And you need to stand in the mirror in all your glory. Okay. The way the Lord brought you in the world naked. Hold on to that, honey. Hold every aspect of it and love you like nobody else can love you. And watch what happened. When I walked with boldness and authority, it came to me. Positive things have no choice but to come. But you got to mentally change your mindset in order for you to physically make a change.
Okay? Shut your mouth.
Keep on. Because that bothers me. Like, no, honey, no, ma'am. Okay. You got to know you a queen all day.
Mm-hmm. Embrace your ugly, just like she said.
All of it. Be unique, genuine love, and simply you. Yeah, like one of our people you got to know your triggers. Just like Hope Speaks said, and most of you don't even understand your triggers. So you got to ask yourself, when you around all of these friends of yours, do you feel worse or do you feel better? Because sometimes people keep you around so they can feel better about themselves.
Right. Got to evaluate them friendships.
Yeah, you got to evaluate. That's when you sip that tea. Sometimes you just got to be quiet and be like,
all right.
Is every time I come in your presence, am I feeling worse about myself or am I feeling better? Man, wow. Hope Speaks says she was her. She was our caller. So it's not. So there you go.
Well,
You're
she was
not
saying
the only one.
I think she's saying that was her. She's been in that place before.
Right, as our speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, the person is kind of like, yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Now, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, into that tea.
It's like, this letter got my heart racing. Wait a minute.
Right. Because, like sometimes a part of us want to, especially when, like I know when I hear a story that's heartbreaking and so, relatable, is that old you or that other side of you is so relatable that it becomes empathetic. It's like, how dare she? Like, come on, like, girl. But we don't want to tear down other women to try to build ourselves up, because that is not what we're about. What we want to do is help educate somebody, in their ignorance or in their lostness or wherever they are that might need that help.
The word ignorance just simply means that you're untaught, uneducated, and unlearned in a certain area. So it's not somebody attacking your intellect. It simply means that in this particular area, you untaught, unlearned, and or uneducated. And as you begin to become better aware of what's going on, how things are moving, then you can move out of the state of ignorance. That's why some people say ignorance is bliss, because sometimes you walk into situations wide open and still don't see the danger or the potential danger in that particular situation.
Okay. Well, I had this, someone was telling me that this guy wanted to know, and I don't think this is like a question or a letter or anything, but this guy wanted to know, he said, why do girls get to be creative with their breakups? They keep saying things like, I love you for who you are, but I'm not in love with you anymore. So they feel like, what can I say, that I have debt, but I'm not in debt with you anymore? Will my debt collectors still want their money? Sila.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I thought that was cute. Didn't have an answer for it, but it was cute.
Sometimes people don't know how to say goodbye, so they say them the best way that they can.
Yeah, because he was like, isn't it the same thing? I love you for who you are, but I'm not in love with you. He said, can I call Wells Fargo and all of them that I got my love with, say, I have a debt with you, but I'm not in debt with you anymore. Can we keep it moving?
So, let's all try it and see what happens. Let's try it and see what happens.
Right.
Wow.
Well, we have been giving you some great tea today. And so Latisha, what is some recap of what you would like to, like to send people away with, some notes or some little homeworks or anything? And I also have where you can find her here on Facebook up on the screen as well. And also you can give them your website or whatever.
Okay. So it's so many things that I can kind of think of. But one of the things that I want you to go away with is to go beyond what you see, to see what it is that you genuinely see. And in order for you to do that, you have to know you And it's as one of the viewers stated, she was like, know your triggers. Some of you don't really know your triggers. Some of you don't know what causes you to go into this downward spiral. So you have no authentic understanding of where you're at or what provoked you to do this. So I would tell you to write down pros and cons, right? And understand and know what your triggers are. And sometimes you have to monitor it. Do it for 3 days. Because this is what I tell my clients. Actually, we call it a hostility log. But that's when you try to find out what upsets you in a day and who upsets you. So what you have to do is take those 3 days and monitor, even when you're around certain people. Just put a smiley face if you're happy. Put a sad face if you get sad. Put a question mark if confusion manifests. Because you got to understand who and what are your surroundings. Some of you don't even like to be by yourself. Why? What's it about your own self that you have yet to like and or identify? So I would ask you for the next 3 days to go ahead and write out your triggers. What makes you feel your lowest? What makes you feel your highest? It could be food. Sometimes I could be so just upset. I promise you, I'll go to McDonald's and get me an ice cream on an ice cream cone. And I don't remember what I was mad about because you have those little I think y'all should try that. Listen, the next time somebody make you upset, go to McDonald's. They cost $1.19. And you don't have to sip tea for that. Just get your ice cream cone and sit in the car, and I promise you won't even remember what happened. Because
I'm gonna sip the Hope's speak homework statement.
So that's what I would tell you to do. And also, like she said, you can reach out to me on my One Interpretations. It's the number 1 and the word interpretations with an S. Or you can look me up under Latisha Anderson. You can visit my website at www.oneinterpretations.com. Or you can reach out to us on our business line at 863-397-2912. But I'm about empowerment. So when you come, I need you to come prepared to do something. I don't give you anything, but I'll give you everything. And you'll learn what that means later. I can give you all the fish I have, but if I don't teach you how to fish, I really gave you nothing. I'll teach you how to fish so you can live past one day. So that's pretty much it. I need you to find out your triggers. Find out what moves you and what motivates you.
Okay. You guys have been sitting here watching Latisha Anderson from EYU Embrace Your Ugly. And I also want you to check out lovealways.today, which is my website. And don't forget to subscribe. I should be having my subscription page up here on this Facebook and on my website also soon. But the live broadcasts are going to be switched over to there if you want to see them, at later dates. So, and if you have any guest suggestions or want to send a letter for our tea time session, so we can tell you, shut your mama, keep on talking, inbox me or email me at lovealways, that's LOVEALWAY 5 @yahoo.com, or you can DM me here on Facebook. And tune in next week where our topic is the hurt that keeps on giving, where my guest will be talking about how long it takes to get over a heartbreak. If y'all was like me, where I always would have a heartbreak and I go to Google it, how long does it take? What I got to do? I need a quick fix. That's my guest next week. So until next week, I want you to practice being a promotion and not the emotion of a traumatic past. So until next week, holla at your girl and keep on sipping that tea.
Have a wonderful evening.